The latest update is just around the corner, and today we're going to take a look at the early release of the update news and update notes for you guys. Obviously there's quite a bit to go through today. We can basically break it down into chunks and try and explain it, and we'll start off with this week, what happened this week. And of course we did have the Red Tiger season, and it was live. It's 900 completions already this week, so that's that's a substantial number of you who've managed to actually complete that. That's going to be ridiculous probably by the time this season comes to an end. You're probably looking at tens of thousands of people that have actually completed it. But alas, moving on. We have had the Tanks Reforged line, which is of course for the E100. We did a few videos on that kind of tech tree line, looking at the Tiger 2, which is probably the best tank within that tech tree line at tier for tier. And then we looked at the E100 itself, which is kind of made kind of average, I think. It's not overpowered, it's not terribly underpowered, it's just kind of average. But moving forward, what have they actually seen with it? Battles played doubled over the first week and is now settling down to about 2,000 more daily battles as we move into the second week. Improvements made to decrease the performance difference between stock to upgraded seem to have the intended impact. So they're trying to make the stock tank just that little bit better. And of course there is the average win rate for the line improved by 1%. So the total average win rate is now to 50%. So that's like typical, but there we go. Obviously, then we have the multiple weapon system added. Don't know what you guys are thinking about these multiple weapon ones. I played a couple of Cold War games. Nothing too substantial, I think, in terms of like the power balance and stuff like that. And you can see that actually the Cobra Arctic Hiss had the biggest jump from 180 battles to 1,700. That's pretty mad to see the amount of people that actually have this tank, let alone people that jumped on it and actually played it. Now, not only that, new Cold War tech tree, we've got Chinese main battle tanks. Don't know how you guys are feeling with those. I think that a lot of people are kind of struggling with the very first tank, the light tank to begin with. And I guess that people are kind of moving up through the tech tree, albeit slowly. And I guess we'll see like the win rates kind of balance out as we go further on. Obviously, for those of you who didn't know, mythological keycards are live, where you can basically get mythology commanders in them and like the potential chance at getting a couple of things, as well as being able to actually get some free stuff, free operations this week. Obviously, +1 -1 matchmaking is currently on as of the recording of this video, so by Monday it will get removed again, so make sure that you grind it out this weekend as of the recording of it, you make sure that you're doing that. Now, we won't go through all of the fixes, but if you want to pause the video and have a look at them, they are here and you can go through them. Essentially, they're just like a couple of little bugs with like the HUD health bar and stuff like that. So yeah, it's basic minor improvements, nothing like significant to be honest. But talking about significant, we have a brand new World War II premium tank in the Tier 8 Soviet TD ISU 152K. Now this is a tank that is on PC and you can see what it looks like on screen right now. This is a pretty meaty tank. Obviously it has 750 alpha damage, 286 millimeters of penetration. I believe that this is actually the BL10, so this is the proper big boy gun that I think the ISU 152 no longer has. So I think Wargaming made a premium version that is actually kind of better in terms of the gun handling or the gun than the current one that it's got in the game. You'd have to fact check me on that. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that the ISU 152 on console got the kind of nerfed ISU 152 gun. So yeah, this is basically a super nice tank, 0.41 accuracy, which you can get that down even further. This is a screenshot from PC. So essentially these values could be altered slightly for console. So you may see the reload go up, you may see it go down. You'd never know with the accuracy and aim time. So everything is subject to change. This is just going to give you the ballpark figures And I expect on console, hopefully, that it's not like super overpowered and just flat out better than the ISU 152 like it is on PC. I'm sure if any of you have played on PC, you'll know exactly what the ISU 152 can do, and it certainly packs a punch and just demolishes your hit points, regardless of what you're playing. You know, with 289 or 86 millimeters of penetration, goes through literally tier 10s with ease. So yeah, not particularly too fun for the opponents that come up against these things, and there'll probably be a ton of them coming in as well. Now, further to that, we have, of course, got the March Challenge. These are... It's got worse, to be honest. We're looking at a tier 6 tank that you can earn, and it's a tier 6 premium. It's a very good one, but it is only tier 6. It's the HMH T3485M. This tank is essentially what we showcased in a video yesterday, or 2 days ago, where we looked at kind of some of the most kind of overpowered or like really, really strong tanks within World of Tanks console, and the T3485M, the T3485M, HMH version, which is this one, the T3488, all of them are fantastic within the game, super high DPMs for a tier 6, and definitely can be used really, really well within the game. So there's definitely room for you guys to get this and try it out, and you will have fun, I promise. Not only that, we have Tank to Reforged, which is the US turreted TD line. So this is for the T110E4. Looks like tier 4 to 9 will mainly see adjustments to improve the upgrade progression of each of the vehicles. So playing the T25/2 with all of the kind of nerfs that it currently has, or not nerfs, but the standard statistics of the tank right now is pretty bad. So we'll be looking at getting those buffed up, especially as the stock version. So it should be really, really good for those of you grinding through that tech tree. And the T110E4 is a really, really fun tank that I've always enjoyed. And they still have poor accuracy when moving. You'll be able to aim in much quicker once it's time to stop and engage. So essentially your aim time is going to get better with these tanks. Really, really good. It's going to allow you to just basically perform a little bit better with these US turreted TDs. And not only that, the premium version, so if you own the Demolisher T28, the Nameless, the Cruncher, they'll all be getting buffs into the current meta of the game. So looking forward to seeing what they do with all of these. They've basically said what they're going to do. Demolisher will receive better armor, penetration, and reduced dispersion penalty, so it could be really, really good now. That's the auto-loading version of the T28 prototype. And then the Nameless receives better gun depression over the sides of the hull. The Cruncher will also get better view range, turret armor, and aim time. And there's also no hint yet on the next line to be upgraded and reforged. So that's still to be decided. And I'm assuming maybe we'll see something like the German Leopard 1, because I feel like that tech tree line could definitely deal with a little bit of a buff, or at least to kind of keep it in line, especially in a couple of different areas. We've then also got the Brothers in Arms Platoon Operation. So these are for people who want to play in platoons, and all battles while playing in a platoon will receive 5% bonus to silver, XP and crew XP earnings. So this is really, really good for those of you who play with your mates. Gets you to try and play with your mates, which I expect Wargaming are wanting, because then they come in and play the game where maybe they wouldn't have, and then they'll be spending money on it, obviously, which is what Wargaming care about. But regardless of what Wargaming care about, is good for us. And of course, win 100 battles while in a platoon to receive a top secret keycard, which is 1 per account. So you can't just play like 1,000 games in a very short period of time to get that, or like 10 of them. But yeah, we'll be able to get a top secret keycard if you play with platoon mates. But 100 battles is a lot, especially winning battles, unless you're like, you know, you can guarantee like a 70% win rate when you're playing. So yeah. Bootcamp, Tank Mastery, M4A3E8 Thunderbolt Earn-Op, so we'll be able to get another Tier 6 premium tank, which is the M4A3E8 Thunderbolt, so looking forward to seeing that free tank come into the game. And we'll also be looking at the player polls on commanders for Monster/Tanksmas, Valkyrie and Grim Reaper 1 for Halloween, followed by Headless Horseman, and then Monster Snowman and Mrs. Claus top picks for Tanksmas. Return of the Valkyria Chronicles tanks are coming back into the game. So these are the licensed tanks, which are the Nameless and the Edelweiss. So these are tanks that if you played probably like 5 years ago, you'd have probably know exactly what these tanks are like, but these are tanks that definitely at the time weren't particularly overpowered. I think the Nameless was the better of the two, but you'll have to kind of check that with some of the other people in the comment section, because obviously that's just my opinion and I can't remember entirely what they were like, but you very rarely see them within the game. Maybe you'll see some of them come out since they've released, like they will be coming back out and people try them out once again. And then the fixes next week's will be that modules now appear destroyed as soon as your vehicle is destroyed. Small little changes basically, and yeah, you can pause that and have a look through them. But the miscellaneous and what Wargaming are kind of currently looking at doing for the future is that World War II co-op coming along nicely, so we'll be able to play co-op game mode, so where you can play against bots essentially. I mean, that's helpful for new players and being able to kind of learn the game. Not so much if you just want to have, like, I don't know, if you want a bit of competitiveness, because the bots aren't particularly that smart, hence why they're bots. But there we go, and they're also looking at the multi-turret, still early work in progress, but yeah, they should be coming at some point, so we'll be looking at tanks maybe like the KV-5 or something where you can use those droids. I don't know how it's going to entirely work, but yeah, it could be interesting to see those on World War II, but hopefully they are balanced like they are on the kind of the Cold War game mode, at least. Fingers crossed, because we never know with what Wargaming are going to do, but there we go. Keeping new players in co-op for a number of battles as well. I don't know that this is like a good idea. Like, I kind of get it that new players aren't going to be particularly great, but if you're not like subjecting them to how the game is actually going to play, then I don't really think that that's much of a benefit. I guess from some degree, like, yeah, you learn a couple of new things that maybe if you wouldn't have if you just dropped them straight in. It will be a little bit easier for them, but kind of forcing them to play co-op, I don't know if that's what Wargaming is saying, but yeah, hopefully it's just what they talked about previously, where it just like log you onto the co-op version rather than put you onto the multiplayer server, and then you can pick if you want to actually play the multiplayer version, because yeah, I don't think that keeping them forcing people into playing co-op is necessarily a good bit for the first time. But then we have new onboarding missions in development, so hopefully that will help with granting new players a little bit of training before they come onto the game, which obviously will help any of you guys watching this video, hopefully, fingers crossed, not having so many like YOLO games where everyone's just ploughing into the middle of the map for some reason. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that will at least teach people that that's not particularly how you do well on the game. But there we go. Yeah, we can't really 100% fix that. But then we have update on color filters. Thanks for your patience, and they will be completely removing them for now. So finally, Wargaming actually removing the grayed out features that they had on some of these maps, which should be really, really good for those of you guys who have been kind of campaigning for that. Me personally, I'm not that fussed on them. I think definitely Heilbronn looks a bit terrible. It just looks like overcast and like grey. So that'll be good when they get rid of that and just make it a little bit like nicer to look at. But yeah, hopefully that comes in as quickly as possible. And then next week's stream will also feature Plague D1S, lead vehicle designer. So if you want to drop him any questions, make sure that you tune into the stream next week as of the recording of this video, which will be Friday, like the 3rd or something like that. Or 4th, so make sure to do that if you are interested in seeing what the lead tank designer actually thinks within the game. So other than that, that is literally the news. Obviously, if you have any questions about it, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. If you think you could add anything to the video, make sure to leave those in the comment section down below, because it's always important that we all holistically have our opinions, not just me rambling on this video for however long. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I really hope you join me back in a couple of other videos coming soon. Goodbye.